You know, the prices are going to spike and the American people are going to pay a price. So this isn't over, you know, and the reality is this is just a betrayal of what Donald Trump promised the American people. And that was that he was going to lower prices on day one.
Nah, you can't escape what Scott Jennings just said. He's right. I just said this earlier. He's right.
Catherine Rappel, I want to start with you. According to the White House press secretary, quote, Canada is bending the knee just like Mexico. Is that what's happening here?
This is hilarious to me because Trump got rolled by both of these countries and no one, least of all Trump, seems to have realized it. Both the leaders of Mexico and Canada have agreed to do what they have already been doing. It's just that Trump did.
I'm very excited to watch this. So basically, someone named Catherine Ramble said Trump got rolled by Mexico and Canada. I don't know who Catherine Campbell is. Have no idea. So they're going to be debating whether or not Trump got rolled. My name is LFR JoJo. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get into it.
Didn't seem to know about it. Like, for example, the president of Mexico said that she would commit to having 10,000 troops at the U.S.-Mexico border. Guess what? There are already 15,000 people there, troops, military troops from Mexico there, and have been there for years. Trump didn't seem to notice this. Same deal with Canada. Prime Minister Trudeau said, aha, we're going to spend $1.3 billion on investing in border security. Guess what? They announced that $1.3 billion last year. Oh, but they're also going to have a fentanyl czar and they're going to have 24/7 eyes on the border. You know, this is about saving face, I guess. I don't know if nobody informed Trump that there are no actual concessions here, but that will, of course, not stop him from claiming victory.
We have certainly seen the claim of victory. Scott Jennings, you know, I'm not going to act like Republicans are still a party of free trade that they had been in kind of iterations past. There's obviously been a transformation and a willingness to at least somewhat embrace what President Trump has made so clear as a focal point of his really entire agenda. But there are some.
So if you guys don't know the context of it, and I think everyone knows the context of this, Donald Trump said he's giving Canada and Mexico 25% tariffs and 10% tariffs on oil, I believe. Yeah, he's giving them tariffs. Basically, Donald Trump put a pause on the tariffs for 30 days with Mexico and Canada because they're in some sorts of negotiation. I don't know the exact negotiations of it. Apparently, Catherine Ramble said that they're doing something that they were already going to do, and it made Trump pause the negotiations, implying that Donald Trump is ignorant of the political landscape in Mexico and Canada. I don't know the discussions they had. That would be going off of what she said. Here's my thing. It's hard to say Trump got rolled over because here's the problem. Canada and Mexico, and I know we do trade with them too and they trade with us, but here's the thing. The American economy is much, much stronger than both Mexico and Canada. So when they have these tariffs, Canada and Mexico are much more sensitive to a tariff than the United States is to a tariff. So when we say we're giving you a 25% tariff, that can collapse the Canadian economy. If they give us a 25% tariff, it will not collapse the USA economy. So they kind of have to play to America's ear. They kind of have to do that because America is just a much stronger economy. If we give them that tariff, they will face an entire nationwide recession practically. We will not face that. And I'm just going off of if we were to enact a 25% tariff on all their goods, they will more than likely face a united recession. But let me know what you all think. I'm going to continue watching to see what they have to say.
Republicans that have raised some concerns about it, including this one. Take a listen.
What about tariffs against our allies?
It will drive the cost of everything up. In other words, it'll be paid for by American consumers. I mean, why would you want to get in a fight with your allies over this?
You know that guy somewhat well, Scott, former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, your former boss as well. Is he wrong here?
Well, I think that question was posed on 60 Minutes last night. Let's fast forward to what's happening right now. There are no tariffs. There's a pause on this because, as has been reported by CNN and every other news outlet, both Mexico and Canada have reached agreements today with Donald Trump to do what we want them to do, which is to put people and technology and resources at the border to stop the flow of people and drugs, illegal immigration, stem the tide. That is the whole point of this exercise. And that is apparently what is happening. And yes, there have been some troops there in Mexico. This is an agreement to do permanent deployment. And yes, some of this stuff in Canada was already announced, but now they were dragging their feet. Now their feet are held to the fire. They've got 30 days to really implement, and they can't pussyfoot around anymore. So the point of this exercise today, to me, had less to do with trade and more to do with saying to our neighbors, you need to be better neighbors. We are more important to your economy than you are to ours, so you need to help us with our serious problem, which is illegal immigration and people dying from fentanyl. And they both said yes today, and that is a win for Donald Trump.
You know, Ashley, to kind of Scott's point in terms of claiming the victory, making clear publicly across every different platform White House officials have a voice in, and the president himself, it's what we're going to see. We've seen it before. It's a playbook, but it's a playbook that's been effective in terms of how the public receives it. What are Democrats doing in this moment?
Well, I mean, I think I would challenge your point about it being effective. I mean, what we're seeing right now is Donald Trump is actually using Americans' pocketbooks as a negotiating weapon in his trade wars, and it's wreaking havoc on the economy as we actually speak. I mean, the markets fell here and abroad globally. You've had a situation where investors are pulling their stocks from companies that they think are going to be hardest hit by tariffs. You've got U.S. industry base from home builders to manufacturing as well as retailers saying that, you know, the prices are going to spike and the American people are going to pay a price. So this isn't over, you know, and the reality is this is just a betrayal of what Donald Trump promised the American people. And that was that he was going to lower prices on day one.
Nah, you can't escape what Scott Jennings just said. He's right. I just said this earlier. He's right. America is, I don't think majority of Americans understand how important America is for the Canadian and Mexican economy. I really don't think they understand. And I think if Americans really understood how much we subsidize Canada and Mexico, they will finally get it. And I'm not saying that we completely carry them. No, they still trade us or give us very important goods. They are extremely important for us as well. However, the importance is not equal. We are vastly more important to them. The reason I'm bringing this up is because if you have the president of the United States, and I've given every president the same courtesy, whether they are left-leaning or right-leaning. If you have the president of the United States saying, we need you guys to do something, and they say, no, we're not going to do that, or they drag their feet on it, I believe they do have the power to say something like, oh yeah, we're going to make you pay for that. Because if we're doing all of this for you, the least you can do is help us. I think that's fair. If we were on the same playing field, considering like, let's say America and Canada did equally the same amount of things for each other, then this would be a different discussion. But that's just not true. And I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on, it's not accurate. It's not. And if you need America that much, you kind of have to get on America's playing field, regardless of whether or not you want to or you don't want to. It's just that simple. And this goes for if Trump's in office. This goes for if Biden's in office. It's just the truth of the matter. But let's continue.
So Trump's trade wars are not over, and they're not, and the effect of them could be felt, and they're going to be felt by the American public in their pocketbooks.
Catherine, to Ashley's point, quantify what the actual impact is here for people saying, look, the market bounced back, no tariffs were put into place, Trump got what he wanted, all's well, we'll do this again in 30 days. Is that kind of the reality from an economic perspective?
I mean, I don't know what Trump wanted in this situation. Again, he didn't actually get anything. But if he were to put these tariffs in place, they would be very painful for American consumers. Okay, Scott. I mean, this is public information.
He got what he wanted. He got an agreement from our neighbors to do more on the border. That's what he wanted, and he got it.
Exactly what they have already been doing.
I understand you're the minister of propaganda tonight, but you don't have to be. You could just say, "Hey, all's well that ends well." Here, come on.
If you don't know that these countries are committing to do exactly what they have already been doing, either you haven't done your homework or you think the American people are idiots. Because again, They're doing
Or option three,
exactly
or
what
option
they were
three, or
already
option
doing.
three. Donald Trump is enforcing what needs to be done at the border, which is more help from our friends. They are our allies, and they are important people, but they need to help us, and they've not been helping us, and now they're going to help us even more.
They have been.
But the point is that it's
Dude,
Yeah,
also
ask every family with a fentanyl death how much they've been helping.
Scott, can I just
Well,
ask
they
you?
have done nothing more.
Scott, can I ask you though?
Nothing more.
Like this playbook is like he's got one play on some level. At some point, the market's going to stop taking this serious, I presume. I think part of the freak out this morning was everybody didn't really take it totally seriously, given the scale of things. Is there ever going to come a point where he's going to actually do what he says on tariffs?
Maybe, I don't know. I think it's dependent upon them. I mean, look, the reality is they have to do more, and we are more important to them than they are to us. We are a bigger economy. We are just a bigger player, and we have lots of equities at stake here beyond the economy, beyond trade. We have people all over this country dying, including in my home state of Kentucky, from fentanyl overdoses. It is a scourge. It is a disaster, and it needs to be dealt with. The illegal immigration crisis is what propelled Trump back to the White House in the first place.
Still the funding. Whoa.
Just real quick, Catherine.
If you're suggesting this is about reducing fentanyl deaths, which I agree is 100% a very important, critical national issue, why did Trump kill the funding last year that would have put in place better technology at our border to detect fentanyl?
Donald Trump wasn't the president last year. He's the president now.
We got a lot.
All of the Republicans to kill it.
We got a lot more to get to. Guys, thank you very much.
Dems are upset.
Scott,
Dems are upset.
We're coming back. Relax.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that bill. I couldn't tell you what actually happened there. I will say he wasn't the president last year. President Joe Biden was the president. So that will kind of be the equivalent of something happening today and them saying, oh, this is Joe Biden's fault. Why did Joe Biden let Congress do this? And this happened today. I don't know. Especially considering Congress is a separate legislative body than the executive president. I don't know where she was getting with that. But I need to look into it. Another thing is we are much bigger players in Mexico and Canada. And I'm not saying they're not doing anything to help us with our problems, but they aren't doing what they can be doing to help us with our problems. I'll say that. You guys may have different opinions, but that's just how I look at it. Anyways, it's LFR JoJo. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.